Let's take you through the grid for our final of the first set of heats. Race 6 of the meeting, DD2 Masters. Let's have a look at the starting order, shall we? So, Michael Becker taking pole position by 1/100th of a second in the 5:26 entry, and will have Tommy Helfinger in the 5:06 alongside. Andreas Frenzel in the 5:03 will have Thomas Piet in the 5:50 alongside the company on row 2. It's Daniel Schollenberger and Klaus Parnett on row number 3 in the 5:22 and the 5:02 respectively. Andreas Neumann in the 5:67, Stefan Carbo in the 555, that's row 4. Marco Winkler in the 5:66 and the 5:24 of Lennart Schreiber round out the top 10. Completing the 16 strong, it's Rainer Born in the 5:60, Patrick Weinstock in the 5:85, Tobias Kreef in the 5:86, Tanju Yildiz in the 5:70, Nico Heine in the 5:23, and last but by certainly no means least, the 5:80 of Konrad Bayer. So again, 10 minutes on the clock plus an additional lap. And then we'll head into our final 6 races. A total of 12 today, a total of 14 tomorrow. So 26 races here at Wackersdorf. We will welcome the Deutsche Elektrokart-Meisterschaft in 2 weeks' time at Motorsport Arena Mülsen in eastern Germany, about an hour and a half away from Dresden International Airport. A circuit established back in 2019. I think, as memory serves me correctly, I'm the first ever English-speaking commentator actually be at that circuit. And what a circuit it is. And that will provide a stern test for our drivers in 2 weeks' time. However, we refocus our efforts and our interest on this gaggle of DD2 Masters drivers here. So Becker and Helfinger on the front row. It's Compkart versus Sodi. Into the tram lines we go. Are we ready? Are we steady? Revs rise. And the lights are out. And a good start by Michael Becker. Helfinger staying in second position. Oh, someone going a bit wide. I think it was Stefan Carbo in the 555 that was going a bit wide, coming out of turn number 3. And there is Andreas Frenzel, Thomas Piet rounding out the top 4, but Michael Becker gets the initial advantage. Tommy Helfinger looking to close in and get past the Compkart chassis. And going into turn 11. That's a great little send there from Helfinger to get the initial advantage past Michael Becker. So go through turn 12, over the hump. Into turns 13 and 14 they go. So Helfinger will lead the way after lap 1, despite the best efforts and best counter-attack tries of Michael Becker, but they were separated by 89 thousandths across the line. As Becker looked for the move up the inside of turn 4, that nearly opened the door for Andreas Frenzel in the 5:03. Thomas Piet rounds out the top 4 in the Praga chassis, and then Daniel Schollenberger, Andreas Neumann, Marco Winkler now up to 7th. Drivers that have also made some moves. It looks like Rainer Born has not made it onto the grid, not made it through past the first lap. So unfortunately, one driver out of 16 not taking part, but everything concertinaing at the front. Piet being closed in by Schollenberger and by Neumann. Winkler on the Parolin chassis is ahead of Parnett, Weinstock, Lennart Schreiber, Stefan Carbo after that off-track excursion out of turn number 3 has dropped to 11th position, and Rainer Born has not even gotten going, so unfortunately the 560 is effectively a confirmed retirement. 8 minutes and 10 seconds plus an additional lap. Becker closing in on Helfinger through turn 4, using a different line to go into the apex, and very close between front and rear bumper there, but they make it through nice and cleanly. One of the things about the livery on that Compkart chassis, you can't exactly miss it. Especially if you're looking at Google Maps from the satellite a little bit further down, as it looks like there's been a little bit of an incident, or someone lost out. That was for what was 3rd place, I believe. But at the moment, Andreas Frenzel is still sticking in 3rd position. He's had the likes of Thomas Piet closing in, and Thomas Piet has dropped. So that means that Daniel Schollenberger has gotten up into 4th position after 3 laps of racing. Schallenberger closing on Andreas Frenzel, bearing in mind they're both on Sony Kart chassis. To go through the left-hander at turn 6 into 7. Oh, sorry, turn 5 into 6 there, now into 7, now into the right at 8. And then into the turn 9-10 chicane. 6 minutes and 55 seconds still to go. And 15 drivers still circulating, all covered by just over 6 seconds at the end of lap number 3. And here is Daniel Schallenberger from Schallenberger Racing, closing in on Andreas Frenzel, or what is third on the road. But Tommy Helfinger, having gotten past Michael Becker on lap 1, has kept the lead for the moment, and the gap now extends to 0.364 seconds. Michael Becker has just put in the fastest lap of anybody, 50.830. So Frenzel still in third place ahead of Schallenberger. Winkler, Piet, Neumann, Parnet, Schreiber, Yildiz. Nico Heine has got past Konrad Bayer for 14th. Konrad Bayer actually said, we need to find a bit of pace. He sent me a Facebook message a bit earlier on, and had a quick chat with him a little bit earlier on today, and he's basically said that need to find a bit of pace, need to get back into the rhythm of racing. Well, there we go. It's just one of those things where you have a bit of a layoff, you have to get back to the circuit, you have to get back into that rhythm and find out what happens. Well, that's exactly what's happened for Konrad Bayer this weekend. A bit of a out of the frying pan and into the fire sort of situation. But I know Konrad very, very well, and I'm sure that he will come back fighting. I mean, it's a new chassis for him. He was racing on Sony Karts up until this season, so switch to Comkart, switch of team, a switch of environment. Still has the same mechanic, but we are in the halfway stage of the race, and Tommy Helfinger still starting to lead. But keep your eyes on Marco Winkler. He's just put in the fastest lap of anybody, a 50.730. The driver in the 566, now running with FD Motorsport, and has changed to Parolin chassis. And he is closing on Daniel Schallenberger. He's within, well, he's less than 2.5 tenths of a second behind at this particular moment. So Marco Winkler had his fair share of trials and tribulations last season. He's been racing in he's been doing some tin top action. I mean, the older style, like the E46 BMWs I've seen on his Facebook activity quite recently. But he still loves his karting, like many of us do. As you can see there, Schallenberger closing on Frenzel for third place. Now Marco Winkler senses his opportunity, as does the 550 of Thomas Piet, who was at one point in fourth position. We've got just over 4 minutes to go, and Schallenberger trying to close in on Frenzel, going through turns 1 and into 2. You can see here that Winkler senses his opportunity. This has brought Thomas Piet into the fray, and with the top 5 covered by just over 1.1 seconds, your guess is as good as anybody's who is going to win this race. Because I'll be completely honest here right now, Tommy Helfinger has not pulled away as I would have expected from Michael Becker, but we know what Michael Becker's like. Now, hang on a second. Well, I stand corrected. Helfinger is about half a second up the road from Becker. Now, Becker is being closed in on by Frenzel, Schallenberger, and the latter two are battling over what is third position on the road, and that could really open the floodgates for the likes of Winkler and Piet, who are closing in on their back bumpers. And the top 6 covered now by 1.78 seconds, and Piet has got a hell of a gap of about 2.5 seconds between himself and Lennart Schreiber. But we still have 15 out of the 16 drivers still circulating at this particular moment. We've got 2 minutes and 45 seconds on the clock, plus an additional lap still to go. And Michael Becker now finds himself exactly, well, nigh on a thousandth higher than 5 tenths of a second behind Tommy Helfinger. Andreas Frenzel rounds out the top 3. Daniel Schallenberger 4th. Marco Winkler in 5th, ahead of Thomas Piet. Lennart Schreiber, Andreas Neumann, Klaus Barnett, Stefan Grabau, Patrick Weinstock, Tanju Yildiz, Tobias Gref, Nico Heine and Konrad Bayer still circulating. But Andreas Neumann has suddenly dropped big time. He was running 8th, and I think that could be a possibility of another retirement. Oh, now there was a bit of an argy-bargy moment there for Marco Winkler, who I think had gotten past Daniel Schollenberger. Schollenberger wasn't having any of it, and now that has opened the door for Thomas Piet, who's now back up into 5th position. Just caught the tail end of that, so Andreas Neumann in the 567. Tony Kart chassis running with RS Competition. The team run by Robert Schlunsen. Now rounds out the rounds out the 15 that's still circulating. 90 seconds on the clock plus an additional lap, and Tommy Helfinger extending his lead by fractions, by mere fractions I might add, and puts in the fastest lap of the race, so 50.504, 0.518 ahead of Michael Becker. Andreas Frenzel, Daniel Schollenberger, Thomas Piet and Marco Winkler round out the top 6 places. And there has been a bit of a change because Klaus Barnett now rounds out the top 10 because he's been passed by Patrick Weinstock and Stefan Grabau. In the meantime, as we come into the last 60 seconds, plus 1 additional lap of the first set of heats, we'll be going into the second set of heats very, very shortly indeed. The good thing is there's double waved yellows, and that is, Stefan Grabau, I'm afraid, that has just had a massive drama. I think there was a technical failure for the Kraft Motorsport driver, and Andreas Neumann is also out of the race. So we are down to what will be 13 drivers. They'll be rounded out by Konrad Bayer in the 580. As there is Marco Winkler trying to close in on Thomas Piet for what is 5th position. We've got 15 seconds on the clock remaining. And the next time around, when he gets to the finish line, Tommy Helfinger will have seen the final lap board because the timer is fast closing to expiry. As Schollenberger closing in on Frenzel, they are battling away tooth and nail over what is 3rd place. Timer has hit 0. That is it. Final lap board will be shown to Tommy Helfinger. The gap between him and Michael Becker is now nearly 0.8 of a second. Frenzel and Schollenberger cross the line. They're less than 1.5 apart in the battle for P3. And Schollenberger closing up through turn 4 into the left at 5 for the final time. One more approach into the left-hand hairpin at 6. Double waved yellows now retracted because they've managed to get both Stefan Grabau and the 555 car off of the racing line and out of harm's way. But at the moment, the way things are standing, Tommy Helfinger will be looking to assert his mark on this championship early and take the checkered flag. But the battle for 3rd and for 4th between Schollenberger in 4th and Frenzel for 3rd is going to be nip and tuck between the pair as Tommy Helfinger takes the win. Michael Becker in 2nd, but Andreas Frenzel hangs on ahead of Daniel Schollenberger, rounding out the top 4 positions. They 3rd and 4th were covered by just over 1/10. There's Michael Becker and Tommy Helfinger doing a bit of sportsmanship there. That's what I love about Rotax Germany and also Rotax competition. The sportsmanship after the checkered flag, and that just shows a lot of respect between these 2 drivers. So let's have a look at the final results for the last heat. 1 out of 2 heats for the first day of competition. So Tommy Helfinger wins ahead of Michael Becker by 0.85 of a second. Andreas Frenzel completes the top 3 with Daniel Schollenberger 4th, being picked to the post for the final part of the top 3 by just over 1/10 of a second. Thomas Piet and Marco Winkler round out the top 6 ahead of Lennart Schreiber, Patrick Weinstock, Tanju Yildiz and Tobias Gref rounding out the top 10. Completing the 13 that finished the full 13-lap distance. Klaus Barnett in 11th, Nico Heine in 12th ahead of Konrad Bayer, with unfortunate retirements for Stefan Grabau on lap 11, Andreas Neumann on lap number 10, with Rainer Born unfortunately not making it even to the end of lap number 1.